Then we were instructed to bag our chips, and we're now off to day 2. It's Sunday, February 21st. Let's go with that. But the most important thing is it's day 2. It's day 2 of a tournament. I made it day 2. It's early. Tournament starts in maybe 3 hours. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have some food. I'm going to get situated. And then wish me luck doing the tournament thing. Like I said before, we are minutes away from starting day 2. And not only are we starting day 2, but we're starting day 2 with a top 10 chip stack. There are about 113 players left, 40K for first. Wish me luck, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing in a tournament.
Remember that orange line around the center table is a hard betting line. So if you do not verbalize your action before bringing chips across that line, they will be put in play.
Okay, well here we are, day 2 of a tournament. I think I played 3 large field tournaments in the last 5 years. The first, the PokerStars Platinum Pass event in Seminole Hard Rock, field of 1K-ish, where I took a nasty beat 3-handed by this moneymaker guy and came in third turn. Unfortunately for me, in my tournament life, Chris pairs his 10 on the river, knocking me out in 3rd place. Of course, I was a little disappointed going out in 3rd place, but hey, I still turned $86 into $5,000. Then there was a WSOP Monster Stack in 2019 where I busted before dinner break. So I picked up the camera to give you guys an update on my Monster Stack progress. It's not good.
Why not?
Not good at all.
You just told us you tried to...
I tried to punt it off a little bit.
Right, but now...
And now this one. Let's see if this tournament Jaman is really a thing. Blinds are at 3K, 6K with the 3K ante, and 117 players remain out of the starting 950-ish over multiple day ones. The plan is to play down to 10, move to a streamed final table, and then hand the winner $41,000. First hand dealt, I looked down at Ace-5 of Hearts from the hijack. Definitely playable. However, before it's my turn to act, the under the gun player has opened to $50,000. Yes, $50,000. Fold. Second hand out the gate, I looked down at pocket 10s from the low jack, and this time action has been folded to me. I opened for $16,000 and only the cutoff calls. If there's one thing I know how to do, it's run good, as illustrated by the 6-6-10 flop. Out of position, I check to the cutoff and he elects to check it back. Things only get better when another 6 hits the turn. Now, if the cutoff has a pair, he may feel really good about his hand, especially after my flop check. I lead for $10,000 and get raised to $40,000. Again, how good do I run? We click it back to $70,000 and he just calls, leaving himself with $90,000 behind. The river 8 is non-consequential. I'm obviously moving in regardless. I'm all in. And I do so, covering him. He tanks for 74 seconds before sliding his chips into the middle. I exposed my cards and unfortunately didn't see what he had before his hand hit the muck. Today might be a good day. Luckily, or unluckily for me, depending on how you want to look at it, most of the hands at this first table were pretty straightforward and practically played themselves. There really isn't anything to talk about here. get me wrong. It's not like I was just running over everyone and having my way with the field. Believe it or not, I actually lose hands too. I know. Tournament Jaman just doesn't win them all.
All I'm saying is you just decided to open as soon as you sat down with 9-7. That's all I'm saying. I don't care about the rest of it. You play how you want to play, but that was you. That's what you decided to do. I like it.
What update is this? Is this a mid-session update? Are there mid-session updates during tournaments? We'll call this the first break update. We are a couple hours into the tournament. We're still alive. We still have an above average chip stack. We're feeling comfortable. There are 64 runners left out of the almost 1,000 that started. And we're hanging in there. We still aren't a tournament player. We're using cash game strategy in a tournament. This isn't going to work for much longer, but it's working now. So we have a break. I have about 2 minutes left on it. I'm not going to spend that 2 minutes talking to the camera. So that's your update. That's about all I got for you. Immediately after that break, I hit some bumps in the road. Well, really not bumps in the road. It's just that I had a slew of decent starting hands that didn't amount to much, which can quickly lead to slow bleeding and disaster. Here I call a 30K open from the low jack with ace-9 of diamonds and the button comes along. Three of us see a flop of 6, jack, 3, rainbow. Both myself and the opener check, however the button isn't having that, and she bets 25K. The opener verbally calls, and I just get out of the way. Interestingly, the turn 6 of hearts gets checked through. The 7 of hearts now falls on the river, and the opener moves all in, covering the button, which sends the button into the tank. After some time, she finds the fold, and the opener surprises everyone at the table when he shows pocket kings. This is a dangerous game they're playing out here.
Excuse me, y'all, while I throw some funk on the world.
It's pretty rare that you get the opportunity to mix it up in a hand with 7-deuce offsuit when you aren't playing the 7-deuce game. Here's one of them. Level 18 blinds at 6 and 12K with a 6K ante, and the small blind has elected to limp. If any hand falls squarely into my, oh, I'm definitely checking this range, it's 7-deuce offsuit. Heads up, we see a flop of 5-7-4 rainbow, and action is checked to me. Because he limped, it's pretty hard to put him on a reasonable range, so I can't assume that I have an advantage on this board, as I would have had he raised preflop. However, I do have top pair, and that's enough for me. I bet 25K, and he calls. The turn 3 of clubs puts 2 clubs on board, and now I also have a straight draw. When he checks, I decide that if I were to get check raised here, I'd be in a really tricky spot. I don't want to be in a really tricky spot. I check back. The king of spades hits the river, and now the small blind leads out for 50K. Now I wish I had bet the turn and shed any of his reasonable king-high floats on the flop. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that he limped with something like king 10 offsuit, decided to call one on the flop, and just got there. However, sometimes I just don't think they got it. I quickly call, and he says, "You got it," shows me a busted flush draw, and another one gets pushed my way. So here's an interesting hand, and I need your help on this one. I know there are some tourney pros out there, so did I butcher this hand? Blinds at 10K, 20K with a 10K ante, and I open under the gun to 50K with ace-9 of clubs. Action folds around to the small blind who calls, and the big blind gets in there as well. 3 of us to this flop. Deuce of clubs, 3 of clubs, 5 of clubs. Wow. Pretty good flop for my exact hand. I have a hammer lock on this. So you're probably asking yourself, how could you butcher this? Patience. Let's continue. The small blind and big blind check, and action is on me. With about 190K in the middle, I bet small, 50K, as I would with a lot of hands in this spot. The small blind calls, and the big blind gets out of the way. The turn 7 of diamond falls, and the small blind checks again. I continue with the smaller sizing. I bet 100K, and he now check raises me to 300K. I look back at the board and double check my hand, and yep, I have the nut flush, and although it's not the nuts, it's damn close. That turn 7 isn't a brick, but it isn't a game changer by any means. If I call this raise, I'll have 233K behind, or about 1/4 of a pot-sized bet. The small blind covers me with a stack of about 700K. So what do you do with the nut flush here? Do you just flat, or do you move all in for 433K? I tanked on this one for a while. If he has a set, he's not folding. If he has a straight, he's not folding. If he has a flush, he's not folding. Pockets 10s, 9s, 8s, those are close. They may not fold now, but might fold if I call and an overcard hits the river. If another club hits the river, he folds almost everything. I'm all in.
All in.
I move in for 433K, and he tanks for 2 minutes and 11 seconds and is either really pained by this decision, or he should probably replace Victor Newman.
That is my final proposition, take it or leave it. You surprised me, Newman.
Eventually, he finds the fold. So I ask again, did I butcher this hand? We got 36 players left in this thing, and I'm one of them. And if you've watched the vlog, you've never seen me play a tournament, really. Maybe you've seen me play one. And the reason you haven't seen me play a tournament is I don't know what the hell I'm doing. We're winging it right now. This is my table. And they don't know I'm winging it. I'm just making things up as I go along. Let's get it. I consider myself a man of the people. And as part of that role, I'm going to let you in on a little secret they don't tell you about tournaments. The blinds go up. And they don't stop going up. It's kind of ridiculous. One minute you have a bunch of chips, and the next minute, well, you still have the same number of chips, but you don't have a bunch of chips. It's wild. So know that going in. Oh, and you can't just cash out whenever you want. Keep that in mind too. I think yeah. You didn't have King Queen suited.
No, King 10.
As the blinds go up and effective stacks get shorter and shorter, play becomes a lot easier as post-flop dancing is extremely restricted and pre-flop wars become the thing. Here the blinds are 20k, 40k with a 20k ante, and I raise to 110k off of about 850k. Action folds to the cutoff, and he decides to go with it. He shoves for slightly less, about 700k. At some point, you just have to gamble. You have to win a flip or two. So let's gamble. I call. Cards go on their backs and he reveals Ace-7 of hearts. Wow, I'm in much better shape than I thought. Well, that is until the Ace-King-6 flop. This is bad. Really bad. I'm pretty good at math, and by my calculations, there aren't many 7s left in this deck. The dealer burns and turns the 7 of clubs. You have to be kidding me. A 1-outer. We go ahead and fade the river and pull off a late stage double up.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding.
We're on a mission from God.
And then it happens. I knew it would happen. The drought. There's always a drought, and unfortunately for me, it hit late in this tournament. I wasn't card dead, although that might have been better. I was just the opposite. I was flop and spot dead and bleeding. I need to turn this around and fast. End of the third, or maybe it's the fourth break. We have 17 players left. We've locked up a little over $2,000. 2 tables. Final table will be streamed on YouTube. A little bit below chip average. Let's go. Let's go. Let's just win it. Like we're here already. Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The vlog was clearly over 3 minutes ago. Oh, you want to see how it all ends? Well, I was planning on releasing that next week, but since you stuck around, have at it.